Hello everyone and welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building the city of Mikelsfjord. And last episode we built this zoo on 3 islands and I think it turned out really well. I haven't really run the game much since I pushed pause on the last episode, but so we're still level 1, but I'm sure it's going to turn into a very thriving location. Now we have spent a lot of the last several episodes building up the industrial infrastructure of the area, and it's time to start increasing the tourism capacity of Mikelsfjord. So we started that by working on the zoo, which I think turned out really well. But in this episode, we're going to be working over here. This is the island of Hommelvik, and the city has been eyeing this for some time. The city's even put in this massive highway in preparation for massive tourism development. We're going to be building our first seaside resort today in this area. And so we're just going to dive right in. But first thing I want to do is just a slight little tweak on the zoo here. And so we're going to give this a proper name. Vikhammer Zoo. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. And there's one other little minor tweak I want to make here. This connection to the zoo north side is going to become very bogged down. So I want to just add a secondary access here. Let's do that now. And we're going to convert these to one-way highways so that we'll get on this direction and we'll come off in the other direction. And might as well convert that as well. Alright, I think that's going to do it. Now we'll leave the zoo alone and we're going to head right over to our island of Hommelvik. And you know what I did in an episode, well, it's actually previous to starting the recording of this series, but I added a highway junction here, an interchange, and I think I did a pretty darn good job putting the grades in and the tunnels, and I really like how this has turned out. So it's a pretty great vista for tourists coming over to the island and checking it out. However, I do acknowledge that this is way overbuilt and we're not going to need a whole highway here because essentially this is the end of the line. And there is a circular route here where it goes underneath the bay here and connects up back to the main highway. So we're going to leave that alone until here, but I do want to convert this down into an arterial rather than a highway. Let's do that now. Great, so we're gonna bring a small road across here. We're just gonna use our dirt roads to connect the ends of these 2 highways. That way we're gonna get our grid and we'll be able to come back here with our arterial roads, our 6-lane road, and we'll bring it about 3 squares off. We'll come up a little bit to say here, and we'll do our curve road tool to get a nice smooth connection. And here we can use, we can break this again and just use our standard highway 3-lane to connect right in. And I've considered, do I want to downgrade this to 2 lanes? I'm going to hold off on that. I know it's probably overbuilt at the moment, but we are going to hold off because we're just building a seaside resort today, but this is going to be a massive tourist area. I do have big plans for this area, so we'll just leave it for now. Let's do the same on this side. Okay, that looks great. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start to, we might as well bring in some power and some water just so that we don't have to think about that. And I think probably the smartest way to do that is come all the way back to the city. In fact, let's go to the source. Let's go back right to the power plant here. We're going to come off from the main line here. In fact, we're going to probably run another second line and just follow the highway. Here we've got a bit of a challenge because if I simply try to put in the power lines, I can go as high as I want, but it's still I'm really quite low for those ships, and obviously the span will not be the same. I think these bridges get an extra long span, you know, beyond the 12 tiles, or 12 squares. So we'll have to figure something out. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I see that the ship pathway is right here. I'm going to pause this for 1 second, and I'm actually going to raise up the seafloor here, so that I can put in my power lines, and then I can lower the seafloor back again, and hopefully that will give me power lines that are actually at the same level as the bridge and not clipping the ships. Now I know that the midpoint where the ships are going through is here, so let's go up as high as we can, which is seemingly not very high. I wonder if I need to let this run for a minute to actually get a little bit of height on this. So we'll speed up to number 3. Yeah, there's our height. As the water sort of does its thing and finds a path and fills back up, we might get a little bit of height on this tower here. And I think as long as the wires are as high as the level of the bridge deck, we should be fine. So I'm going to pause it again, just wait till it pops up to the highest point there. Try to time this right. And clearly I'm not. Okay, here we are. So the midpoint is here. We want to run parallel to the bridge. We're going to go out road length 6. There's 5 and 6, so we know that will be half of 12. There's the 12, and we should be getting our max height there. And if I come over here, try to get this to the same level. Great, now we can come back through here and lower this imaginary land bridge again. And we'll pick up the depth over here and just make this all one deep channel for the ships to get through. And what I'm trying to do is not destroy the deck of this height here. And so we'll just pull this back as far as you need to without messing up the bridge. And that looks pretty good. Great, let's hope that is enough. We'll run it again, let that water sort itself out. Luckily no ships were harmed in the making. And let's run this power line to the end. Go as far as there for now, and then we'll work on the water pipes. Great, I think that's done it. All right, so where are we gonna put this new little town? And I'm going to call it a historic town. I think what the plan is going to be is we're going to put all of our seaside resorts along this beautiful beach here. And in a future episode, I think we're going to do more of a traditional tourist high-rise party town on the other side of the street. But this is going to be the sort of upscale, maybe quieter, older generation type of entertainment in these luxury resorts. So let's get a bit of the road layout set up, and then we'll figure out what we're doing from here. So I'm going to pick a node once I get my guidelines back on, and we're going to see as this is the straightest section, so we're going to come off here, and I think we'll do 11 units. In fact, I think we'll go a little bit longer to leave ourselves the room for a path in there. 12 units. Come all the way up to this other node that is the last one on the straight section, and we'll go out another 12. I don't like going on the beach, but sometimes it's for the best. In fact, I went a little too long there. I only want to leave one space in between so I can run a pathway behind. Great. Yeah, okay, that's a start. Now let's find the midpoint between these two. So this is 2160, half of that should be 1090-ish. It's looking approximately in the center. Let's just quickly measure that. 1080, perfect. Okay, and I know I already want to upgrade this, so we're gonna have a nice little historic downtown here, and I'm wondering, will this be a pedestrian area? I think it actually might be. So we're gonna get in our right of way, and we'll think about that pedestrianization later. But for now, I know I want a broad avenue right down the middle of town here. And then we're gonna start using some of our Seaside Resorts assets. So let me find those. Those have been really interesting. I've been playing around with those. I believe they're here in the Parks tab and the Content Creator Packs. So there was an amazing asset that I love that I want to get in before anything else. And maybe it's not here. Maybe it's in the pedestrian area plazas. No, I think it's actually in the special buildings Content Creator. Yeah, that's where it is. So I guess we've got to scroll all the way down to here they are, our Seaside Resort assets. And there's an amazing pier that just goes on for days. That's the one. And I want to get this right at the end of this avenue. The challenge is it's very hard to place. It doesn't snap to a road. It kind of snaps to the coast a little bit willy-nilly. So I might need to do a little bit of grading here. While we let that water clear, I do want to get in just one little stub of a road here because I know this asset needs a road. So let's see if I've come out far enough. And this is going to be excruciating, I think, but we're going to try to get this lined up directly with the run of the road here. And you can see it's not quite cooperating with me. I don't know if that's just the way my land is set up, but let me play with it for a minute and we'll see if we can get this to align with the road. All right, so I can tell that's not exactly perfectly aligned, but man, that took some patience. So we're gonna call that good enough. And yeah, I don't know. It seems to me like a logical termination of that road there, that it ends up in this beautiful quay. What do you call this? A pier. A pier. Oh my God, look at this thing. This is absolutely beautiful. And I think it's gonna work very well in this new Seaside Resort community. So let's finalize a little bit of this quay wall, and we'll give people a place to walk. And I think what we're going to do is use some of the newer assets, and I like the wider wall. So let's go with this one here and see how that looks. We'll just upgrade these and bring them as far down as we can. We're going to turn off road length. And in fact, we'll turn off everything except angle, just so we can get, oh, okay, it's gonna give me a little bit of trouble for the shoreline, so we'll just fix this. What's next? So I think we want to upgrade some of these trees. You know, the ones that came with the new Content Creator Pack are pretty bomb, so you know, we'll switch to the young lindens and make this our main drag here. What else we can do? I guess we need an actual zone district here. So let's see. Yeah, we're just gonna tighten this up a little bit, and we'll make this. For now, it'll just be this little downtown area here, and it's gonna be a very quaint little town. You know, I think we might even call this Historic Hommelvik, and well, we might even make this a pedestrian zone, so let's investigate doing that. But first, let's investigate some of our policies. So what do we want to do here? What would be the most sort of, you know, quaint little town-esque building style? I'm not sure. It's definitely not mid-century modern. That's a little too modern. Definitely not modern city center. Not European, but you know what? Let's try European suburbia. Let's see how that goes. And let's check out what we want to use here. So I'm going to start doing water usage to cut down on some of that. Smoke detector, sure. Parks and Rec. Yeah, definitely. For parks, plazas, and park areas draw 10% more visitors. Yes, I will put that on. Actually, no, I'm not going to put that on. And I have a reason for that, which will become clear later. Free Wi-Fi, sure. And we'll bounce over to our city planning here. I definitely don't want any high rises, and you know what, I'm going to ban heavy traffic because I know that will be handy in the future because of what I want to do. Old Town, residents and businesses, no, that's fine. It's going to be a pedestrian area anyway, so we don't need that. And I think we will leave it there. Now let's check out these new pedestrian areas. And in fact, I think we need to go in here and draw it first. So let's paint that area. And yeah, let's make this pedestrian friendly. Now, what's the structure here? What are we doing here? I think we also are going to want to put in some policies. So what do we have for residential or industrial? Definitely not. Commercial, I think we might just go organic and local produce, since this is a small little quaint downtown. Office specialization, I don't think we're gonna have any office here. Definitely not IT, wall to wall, I don't think so. I don't want to mess with that yet. And as far as residential, self-sufficient, no, I don't think so. No, these are old buildings, these are not modern buildings. So we're just gonna leave it like that. And of course, along the arterial, which let's do ourselves a favor and downgrade that. This is the center of town, so it can be an arterial on either side, but we don't really need a major 6-lane avenue through here. So let's find something. Yeah, let's use this. What is this called? The 2 large avenue with grass. Perfect. We'll downgrade this. This is going to be our downtown area, and we'll throw some light commercial along the main drag here. I'm going to leave 1 space here because I know I'm going to do something like that. And what else? I think we'd also want a little bit of commercial along the seafront. So tell you what, let's put that in there as well. And I am actually going to do one thing just first. I'm going to pause it because I don't want to put this in yet. But let's go over to some of the other assets that we have here. And I noticed there was a historical museum here, Coast Guard Heritage Museum. So let's put that on downtown here. We can create a little node of commercial or of tourist interest. And I know with this pack also came a historic fire station. So let's put that here as well. Let's check that out. Oh, that's super cool. This is definitely looking like a really interesting area for tourists to hang out. It actually kind of looks like the waterfront in my old town where I used to live. So that's a good start. And I wonder if we want to put in just a little bit of, maybe not super deep, but we're going to put some 2x2 commercial here. And we're going to let this be, what are we going to let this be? This is going to be organic and local produce. So we've already got that policy here. So let's see how it turns out. We'll see if we like it and we like the way it looks. What else do we want to get in here? Some of our services. Let's get in the usual. In fact, before I do that, I want to make sure that I'm getting in our pedestrian roads. And so I've been eyeing up these, not the bluestone, but the cobblestone pedestrian street. Let's see how this looks. And of course, we'll do the waterfront as well. And we'll leave this because this will be a necessary road. You'll see why in a minute. But and then we'll come through here, and we'll make this 4-lane road also a pedestrian road, and we'll do that cobblestone. But you know what? Let's give some trees on this one. So large bluestone with grass and trees. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, not bad. I think we need to fix our trees though. Ooh, this is gonna be good. Yes, it's looking really good. So we'll have a view of our pier right at the end of this. I wonder, can we use the other tree assets in here? Where'd they go? Beautiful. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm liking the way this looks. Look at that cobblestone. Beautiful. Okay, and now the next thing we need is one of those garbage access points. So where do we find that? It's in Parks and Plazas. Right, so I think the small one should be fine for now. And by the way, I have everything unlocked because that's just how I started playing this series, so everything is unlocked for now. Where do we want this? Yeah, maybe, okay. I think that should work. So it's connected to the road, it's connected to the pedestrian area. That should give us, 5 trucks for cargo and 3 for garbage. This is not a huge area, so I'm hoping that will be enough. This is saying no garbage service point. Now, that should go away, I'm hoping. All right, now let's start getting some of our other services in here. We are going to want a little bit of a downtown, so let's pop in our post office first. And I wonder if we can just, oh, okay, so this is something that cannot be placed on a pedestrian road. So it will have to go somewhere else, and I wonder if perhaps here would work, or even on this side. Yeah, I don't love that idea. I wonder if we're maybe gonna place it on this side. So let's quickly draw out a little bit extra, and what I wanna do on this side is just create one block on this side. That wasn't far enough. Just enough space so that we can get in our train station, and that is going to live right at the end of this road. So let's get that road in, and this is going to be a car area on this side. So we'll just use our regular large avenue with grass. We'll go up here, and let's see where we can get in our post office. And I made a mistake. I actually want to leave an allowance for a walkway. So let's put that in, and I'll tell you why. We're putting in a train station, and so I want people to be able to access this. And you know what, right off the bat, let's go up, and we'll put our pedestrian access in here. We'll go down to ground level here, come across, and this will be, this space in the middle is going to be a little bit of back alley pathways. Give us a little bit more pedestrian access. And then this can come down and meet it here. And I think we might just leave it there, given that this is already a walking path. We don't need extra paths there. So I think at this point we can run it. Let's just bring the power over. Next, I want to find that historic train station, and I wonder if it's in here. I don't believe that it is. It's probably in the train. It's not, so let's see, content creator packs, likely. Let's see. There it is, this historical train station. This is going to be absolutely perfect for this location. We'll center this on the road. So now we have, at the end of this avenue, this train station, and at the other end, it's the pier, and so this is really coming together as a true historical area. Now we're gonna have some power issues until things start filling out, but let's see how that goes. And let's start getting a little bit more of our services. So we've got our post office. We'll need a medical clinic. I think that can sneak in right there. Fire, we've got our historical fire station. We'll let that be our coverage for now, but we will also get in one of these European style police stations, and we'll just plop that on the corner here across from the medical clinic. Will we get into school? Yeah, I think we're probably going to need one, and so that would probably make sense. Well, that fits pretty well over here. And we'll give it a little park beside, because you know, that seems to be the thing to do in the city skylines these days. Let's see which park might fit in here. Yeah, we'll put that there, and we will rejig our path network. This will come as far as the school. fact, you can go just a little bit farther. We'll get rid of our road guidelines. And come right up to the park, go down, we get ourselves a bit of a path there. And can I sneak this through? No, not without destroying something. So let's do it here. And we're gonna put in, what else did we forget? We don't need a high school yet, we're not there yet. Other parks, I think, you know, we might sneak in one dog park. Yeah, I'm just not sure we need it. I mean, some of these tourism infrastructure things will be pretty helpful. We'll add a park if we need it, but I'm not sure that we do. So let's just fill this out with a little bit of light residential, and we'll see what pops up. We'll get our power connected there. And so how are we doing? So I find it interesting that we actually have you know, two different names here. So if we want to go and change that, we need to adjust the name of the pedestrian area, which is exactly on top of this, so it's going to be hard. But I can fix that by going and, oh, interesting how it pulled that pedestrian area up. Am I looking at pedestrian areas? I am. I'm not sure why we need it all the way up there, so we're going to cut this off. What I can do is pull this area out a little bit, and that will move the name of Hommelvik, the city, away, and I can access this now, and we can rename this Historic Hommelvik. Great, yeah, this is the historic downtown in the larger city or municipality of Hommelvik. Let's check out our policies. So I haven't actually played with this. Slow driving. Decreases noise pollution. Let's leave it as is. Sugar ban. Increase the average lifespan of citizens, but increase crime rate by 20%. Okay, interesting. Street music. Sure, that sounds good. Slightly increases noise pollution in commercial zones, increases happiness. Deliver everything. All buildings within this area get cargo deliveries and garbage via service points. I don't think it's necessary, so we're just going to do street music. Everything's unlocked because that's you know, the cheat that I've got on right now. We'll leave that alone. This is starting to slowly fill out. I think what we are missing is actually a little bit of pedestrian access to the quay here. You know, this is a seaside resort, so why not give people the option to actually walk on the beach? And I will have to destroy some of that, but let's see how close we can get here. And I'm going to want a little bit more connectivity through here. And we'll kind of point this right at the end of the quay. And we'll try to match that on the other side. We need the grid so that we can snap to this. Oh, yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, it might just fit, okay. So that seems fairly parallel. I wonder, yeah, this should probably be a pedestrian road. I wonder if that's going to break our access to this pier. Let's check it out. Seems to be fine, so we're getting a true pedestrian area here. Now these guys are already complaining about not enough workers, so we just need a little bit more residential, which we don't have a lot of demand for, but we're going to leave it. It will fill out eventually. It's just taking its sweet time. One thing I did want to add, there's another asset from the Seaside Resorts pack, and that is the historical library, which looks pretty cool. Now, where are we going to fit this? It does seem like it might go onto the main road. Now, I hope this is okay to use on a pedestrian area, so we're about to find out. Yeah, it doesn't seem to mind, so we're gonna leave that. This looks like it could have been like, you know, the main street of this old 1700s town, and now we need a little bit of the actual seaside resorts. So we're going to run our road right along the coast, and we're going to do a huge installation of seaside resorts. So here we go. So now we have a basic structure for where we're going to put our hotels, and there are a lot of them. So let's take a peek and see which ones belong where. I'm not sure that I have any real, you know, theory about which one should go where. I guess some of them have, you know, consistent themes, so we might try to stick some of the red ones together, the green ones together. However, I wonder if maybe it makes even more sense to put some of the bigger ones toward the end. That seems like it would be more exclusive. So I might start from the back end here, and let's get them in wherever it makes sense. We're going to check out our topography for a second. So definitely don't want to be carving into those hills, so I might just adjust. Sure, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Okay, so we fit 2 in there. Let's start working our way back through town. Now, actually, before I do that, there's one thing I want to take care of, and I'll tell you in a second. So I'm going to pull up my dirt road here, and I'm going to kind of make a boundary for this park. This seems to me like the perfect opportunity for a park. And if we scroll out, you can see there's a second opportunity for a massive nature reserve on both ends. Turn this into a real national treasure, you know, a natural gem. And so what I'm going to do is put on my contours, and I'm just going to draw this dirt road right around the base of this mountain in hopes that I can sort of protect some of this parkland. And see, the reason I did that now was so that I could have a tie into this road and not sort of you know, forget to leave an easement for this road if I'm putting in all of these hotels. But yeah, that looks like a fine border for the park. Do I want to do the same on the other side? I think so. Yeah, all right. And why don't we go ahead and just paint out those park areas so we don't forget that that's what we said we would do. Now, obviously those are some massive park areas, and you know, maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew, but I'm actually kind of excited to get started on those. You know, it represents more than 50%, probably closer to 2/3 of the land on this island. So, you know, it's going to be a really fantastic tourist draw once we have these parks in place. I'm not sure we're going to do one nature reserve and who knows what else on this side, but anyway, now we've got our roads in place, we can start doing the rest of our hotels. I think that road just got a little bit too curvy, so we're gonna let it tie in at a 90 here, and that looks a little more reasonable. I think probably this is gonna just be its own little kingdom over here. That is quite stunning. Somebody did a really great job, and I did not do a good job of grading that, but it's, you know, it's the back end, so well, no, I can't leave it. All right, slightly better now. We can actually see the stairs on that side, and let's see what else we have for assets. We've got pretty large ones over here. So what I'm trying to do is leave 4 spaces from the next thing, just so that I can get in fences around here. And you know, some of these are really small. I'm not sure they're even worth putting like all the way out here, given, you know, that probably the land values would be higher for the bigger stuff, but tough call. There's no real rhyme or reason here. Some of these small ones I might just put in town, and we have a real worker shortage problem. May have been smart for me to actually connect up my train station, but you know what, we're gonna fix this. I wonder if the challenge here is that we need highly educated. No, that's not true. We need uneducated workers and some educated. Okay, so it may be that the people in this neighborhood just need time to catch up and get their elementary degree before they're out in the world. We'll fix this later. Let's get in the rest of our hotels. This tiny one, I think it's actually going to go right in town. And I'm just trying to find a lot that might actually be a suitable size. Let's turn this overview off. And it's going to be tough. It's such a small little sliver of a building. You know what? That's fine. We can plop it right there. And did we get them all? I think we have. One thing that I did not get is these 2 pavilions. These are absolutely huge, beautiful, and I think it would make a lot of sense to keep them grouped around here, but I'm actually not sure what I want to do with those yet, so we're gonna leave. Well, you know what? Okay, let's put a little note out here. Whoops, a little, you know, something to attract a little bit of visitors out this way. And again, this is going to give me real trouble. Oh, okay, maybe not. So I can plop that there, and hopefully that's close enough to the road. I think it is, so it's not complaining. And that might draw a little bit of tourism out here, which might help the hotels. And we'll see if we can plop the other one at the end of this road. And now we have sort of a symmetry, which I love. I might just have to grade. Just to get it parallel with the road, I might just not center it right on the end of this junction, so that's fine. All right, great. So we've got, I think, all of our assets in now from the new Seaside Resorts content creator pack, and we are hurting for water out here, so let's do this. And by the way, we're running a little low on water availability, so we'll have to think about that in the near future. Alright, and of course we haven't quite got power to jump, so let's see where the break is. Yeah, there's just a little bit too much distance between all of these, and I'm not sure I want to move them. These are fine on this side, except for, of course, this little obvious break here. So on this side, I think what we can do is the old earthquake sensor trick. And where is that? It's in right here. No, it didn't quite jump, so what to do? Oh geez, it just barely is not there. Ah, hilarious. Let's see if we can sneak this over just a tile. And one more. Ooh, it's not gonna like me. Okay, we cheesed it a little bit. That's fine. This town is really going to the dogs here, so I suspect part of the problem is that we've got the organic and local produce. So let's actually take that off for at least for this part here. That's part of the actual city, so we'll just pull this back just a little bit. And we'll let them redevelop, and hopefully they stop complaining, because I think before when I tested this out, it was fine without the organic and local, so that was probably a bad idea on my part to even try that. How are we going to connect power here? I think we just need to sneak these over just a touch. I don't love doing that because I want the distance between them, but we need power, and I'd really prefer not to run lines and prefer not to do something silly with the earthquake sensors. So let's see how close I can get. I think we did it. We've got it daisy chained all the way along, and we've got water and power. Great. Next thing I want to do is actually create a little bit of a fenced in private property type of deal. And what fences are we going to use? Definitely not something iron or hardcore. Nature reserve fence, possibly. I also like the park fence, the farm fence. You know, let's do nature reserve. It looks pretty old, and we'll come basically between each of these. I guess we've got all of our guidelines off, which is good. So we'll just come out. I want the distance on. Yeah, Yeah, so maybe 10. I actually want to leave right away here for the road, so we're gonna get that in, just so I don't take my fence out too far and have to destroy it later. Awesome, so now we can just connect up the backs of these, and I don't want to forget to get these guys covered, so we'll do the same thing on this side. Not sure they need fences over here, it's fairly remote, and I'm not even sure that this one needs a fence, but we'll just put it in anyway. Great, I like that. So that lends a real exclusivity to, you know, each of the hotels and to the region itself, and it sort of looks like these were, you know, really old properties where you know, the lot sizes were much bigger back in the day when this was just, you know, the untamed coastline in 17 whatever or 1800 something. Okay, what's next? It would be nice to add a few little props in here. And what I have in mind is, I believe it's from the new, is it from this content creator pack? There it is. It's a mid-century modern asset, but I think this is going to work here anyway. And these are our beach chairs, and so we'll flip these around. We've got two of them. I think we're going to use the more loungy of the two. And let's just fire in a bunch of them. So it would be as if these hotels had maybe some ownership of the beach, or maybe access to it, a right of access, and they've just decided to set up some of their own chairs so that their clients can use them. Or maybe, you know, the municipality has done this and they're trying to encourage people to come and visit the beach. Maybe they manage the beaches, but I think this adds a real nice little holiday seaside village feeling to the area. How did our commercial do? Yeah, it's popped back up and it's still saying not enough workers. That is just a function of not having enough residential in this area. So we will rectify that. I'm not sure we'll do it in this episode, but for now, they're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so I think we're on the right track. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is connect up this rail line. And I thought, you know, there's two ways to do this. Our endpoint for the east-west line is here in Reinsgard, and it kind of pops across the highway. I knew that I'd be building something residential out here, but I didn't know where. I might have additional residential out here, you know, in which case we've got two options. We can bring a rail line down this way, which is, you know, it's the much longer route. It's probably also a little bit more exciting. Or we could do the direct route down here and pretty easily get through. Now, it would be way easier just to go the direct route, but it's gonna be a straight line, kind of boring, you know. I would have to put it on this side to avoid putting it through the industrial area. I'm not gonna do that. It's gonna be way more fun to actually come along here and add a rail line to this, beside this highway, and then a rail bridge over here. It's gonna be beautiful. And it's gonna take me a little bit of time because this is not an easy endeavor, so I'm gonna jump into a quick time lapse and get that done and show you the results at the end. Here we go. Okay, that was a mission, but we got it done. I think that was way more fun than doing the straight route across the industrial area, and instead we're going through the mountains, which, you know, this is a game that lets you build trains, so we've definitely done that. Awesome. Now the next step would be to actually extend this line. This is our east-west line, and we're going to pull it all the way out to the new train station in our new tourist area. And of course we need to go back to that station and add stops there again. And we'll have to think about how many trains we want on this line. Are we gonna have enough capacity now? Let's check it out. So right now most of the trains are running around half capacity. There's quite a lot of action at this station, which is our new Kiev station, which we built a couple episodes back. But I think we're probably okay. We're gonna let it run for a little bit and see how it goes. You know what, I don't love the color of these trains, and so let's put something on that's a little bit more, I don't know, realistic. Yeah, I think that deep blue really works well. I like that a lot. And we shall run it. All right, what's next? Let's head back over to, what do we call it? Hommelvik Island. And let's see what's going on here. How are our hotels doing? They're doing just fine. Yeah, it turned out, I think, they're all functioning well. Let's see, how many customers do we have? 17 tourists. I have no idea if that's near capacity or not. Probably not. Now we do have an issue, of course, with all these abandoned buildings. And I'm going to just delete them in hopes that, you know, maybe with our new train station we're going to get a little bit more passenger traffic down here. Don't love that people are parking here, but that's what it is. What can we do to fix this? Well, we could build some more residential, so why don't we build a little bit more of a new community in here, and we'll get some new life into this community. Okay, that looks like a pretty great grid. I like it. And we're gonna put in, well, I guess we need a high school at this point, so we'll start with that. And you know what? I'm betting this is gonna be a fairly posh neighborhood, and so we're gonna go with one of these posher ones. Oh, you know what? We put in a library. That's fine. But let's work on our high school. So this is the elementary alternative. This is the high school, Institute of Creative Arts. It's relatively big, so I wonder if it would have fit in here. Where is it going to fit? Okay. Sure, that works well. And then I wonder if we can put a, let's see, some kind of gymnasium across the street. Let's find out. One other thing that I believe a community like this would have is some kind of cemetery. They probably got some kind of historical cemetery somewhere, and I'm wondering, you know, if that would go on a hill somewhere, likely. I don't want to put it inside the park area though, so I wonder, is there anywhere else with a hill? It's not looking like it, so let's just find a spot for it. So apparently this historical fire station is not really up to the task. Who knows why that is, but we definitely need a second fire station. So let's get that in relatively close to downtown. We'll put it on this minor collector here. And while we're at this, we've got a ton of trees, and we're going to want to protect these, especially since this is going to be a national park. So I've noticed these work a lot better at the highest points, and just makes logical sense anyway. So let's see how much coverage we get out of that one. Pretty good, and we might want one on this direction as well. So the highest point over here is likely this one here. That should cover this side, and there's a few over here. I'm not sure it's terribly critical if we want one more, but it certainly would help the hotels as well. So let's see if we plop it up top here. That should do it. And on this side, let's see, where are the high points over here? Okay, so we are doing some good work with fire coverage. Let's see how our police are doing. I suspect it's fine. We've got a modern station there. It should be able to cover this section of the world. Our high school is perfectly covered now, our institute, and our elementary should be doing fine. I think probably there's more than enough capacity. Yeah, I think if we fire in some more residential here, it should be okay. What else are we gonna want? A little bit of park action. And get our water in. Amazing, and now I think we can get over here and just put in a little bit of light commercial on this strip since we've got the demand, and we're going to go through here. Did we forget anything? We've got our, oh, I did want to get in a serious library, although I wonder if it's necessary. Yeah, why not? This is going to be a high income community, so let's see if we can do that. While I'm thinking about it, we'll get our paths in. All right, I think that's looking good. And now let's go through here with our large brush, and we're gonna start painting. Just mindful that this is the inside of the park, so we're not going to want to zone inside there. Great, so let's run this at speed for a second and see how this fills out. Our demand's still strong, so let's see if it actually fills out or not. And while I'm here, let's see how the train's doing. 37 passengers, and are they incoming or outcoming? Oh, look at that. So there is quite a number of, I'm wondering if they're tourists. We have a resident. There's probably a lot of people actually moving into town right now, so you know, this train's going to help. It's going to bring a lot of new life to the community. And how are we doing here? So these hotels, look, lots of people parked on the street. I don't know if I love the way that looks, but it is what it is. We've got people using our piers. We've got people all the way out here. Can we see anybody sitting in the chairs? It looks like not yet, so who knows? Maybe it's too cold. It's only 17 degrees Celsius after all, so it's not exactly beach weather, despite this being a seaside town. So I'm actually quite happy with how this is turning out. There is one thing I forgot to do, and I want to do that before it's too late. I want to turn this into its own district, and I want to set some policies before too many houses pop up. And Manor Hills, no, that's definitely not a very Nordic name, so we'll call it Uckelberg. The suburb of Uckelberg. And let's switch this also to European suburbia to be consistent. Let's check our policies. We do want water usage, smoke detectors, parks and rec, maybe? Yeah, land value increase, and what else do we see here? Prefer parks? Sure. Free Wi-Fi. Do we need a maintenance boost? Yeah, I'm not sure that we do. What else do we have here? We'll want a heavy traffic ban there as well, and I think I want a high-rise ban. Anything else? No, that seems to be it for now. I do want to check the policies on this side as well, though. Just make sure I didn't do anything silly. I've got my high-rise ban, heavy traffic ban. That is great. One thing that I learned my lesson from the Seaport lesson, recording rather, is do not put a heavy traffic ban on the arterial. You definitely don't want to do that. Okay, great. Where are we at? Let's run this a little bit and see if the housing fills up. Let's check this train while we're at it. I love seeing the trains at work. 45, okay, so we're slowly growing on passenger traffic. All these houses that did pop up are going to be destroyed because I just set a different theme, but let's see what happens. Okay, so it is taking its sweet time for whatever reason. I'm not sure, you know, we have had, okay, so that's why we've burnt out a residential demand. That's going to come back. It looks like we're burning money, but I'm not worried because our industries across the region are pumping money into our coffers every once in a while. So what else can we do? I think we're looking good. The traffic is not bad at all. We've got our rail line connected. We've got what looks like a pretty amazing little downtown here. And oh, these trees don't really match. Beautiful. Now we've got some synergy, some symmetry, and it's looking good. I'm not sure how that I love the theme of the commercial, but it is on the main road, which technically is our arterial. So we're gonna say that this is a win. It's actually quite a beautiful little quaint seaside town. I'm kind of falling in love. This is really working out. And if we go down the coast here, we've got all of our hotels. You know what? I think we're gonna leave it here. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is so much fun for me. And if you like this episode, please click the like button and click the notification bell so that you get notified when new episodes come out. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, and stay tuned for a quick city tour. Have a great one.